Why should you not be an entrepreneur? Why is it that people want to be an entrepreneur? Is it just because of the label of entrepreneur, or is it because of the outcome that they perceive entrepreneurs have? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. So grab a pen, because you may find out that you can still achieve the same goal as an entrepreneur without actually having to put all the work in that it takes to be an entrepreneur. Welcome, everybody, to the A Players podcast. I'm your host, Haydon. I'm here to help you reach new levels and make a bigger impact in your career. Now, that impact can either be in helping more people, climbing that career ladder. But what we really talk about is the other side, the income side. How do you achieve a minimum of 100K per year in what you do? Now, people think, okay, if you're going to make a lot of money in business, then you must have to be the business owner. Why is that? Because if you look at media, and I'm not just talking about TV media here, I'm talking about social media, entrepreneurs really get, made special online because of that's the way that everyone perceives that people become successful. You've got to be an entrepreneur. Well, let me tell you, did you know that most entrepreneurs actually earn less than somebody in an average wage? Why is that? Because there's so many people out there calling themselves fucking entrepreneur. Yeah. Real entrepreneurs, they understand how to invest in businesses. They understand leverage. They understand people skills. They understand how to add value to make more money. Now, why do you have to call yourself an entrepreneur to do that? If you go and listen back to the previous episodes of the A Players, and if you are a 100K club member, you'll quickly understand that you can make massive amounts of money depending on the problem that you solve for people. All entrepreneurs are doing is solving a bigger problem for people out there that that have the money to spend on it. Okay, so if you want to earn more money, find the problems of people with more money. Okay, so if that person has more money, they can part with more money to solve a problem. They value it. Yeah. But if the people that you're aiming for don't have any money in the first place, then look, there's no way that money is going to cash flow to you because there was no resource there in the first place. It's a bit like, hey, look, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur I'm going to be is somebody that doesn't solve a problem for anybody, but at least I can call myself an entrepreneur. Yeah. You got to understand what an entrepreneur actually does. Solves a problem for either somebody with a lot of money that can part with the money, or to lots of people that don't have as much money. So this is called cash flow, right? Is it cash flowing from a reservoir where there's a large lake, a large body of water, and you can cause streams out of that body of water to start to come to you? Or are you trying to build a river where the cash flow comes from multiple reservoirs? Yeah. So you need to think about here, what are the actual foundations of what the entrepreneur is doing? Now ask yourself this question. What's stopping you from not owning a business? So an entrepreneur is somebody that owns a business and solves problems. What about if you was to solve a lot of problems for a lot of other people? Yeah. And be in someone's business. We call this an intrapreneur. Yeah. Someone who's internal to a business. Entrepreneurs can still make a lot of money. Think about the banking world, right? You can go and work for a bank or work for a big financial organization. Finances, lots of money, big reservoir. You go in there, you climb the ladders within the career. And look, it's not about climbing ladders, right? It's not about waiting for people to fucking die. You've got to show value. You've got to learn before you earn. Go out there, develop your skills, learn the new stuff that's required to solve bigger problems in that bank, and you will climb the ladder quite quick. What you'll start to find is that because it's a bigger organization, what sort of big problems do organizations face? People problems. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look, it's going to be moving to AI. No, it'll be people using AI. Just like when when the laptop came out, or a keyboard came out, it replaced a typewriter. Yeah. It's just how you use the stuff. The skills is what's important. So here's why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. Number one, financial stability. If you are an entrepreneur, and this is assuming the term entrepreneur actually means an entrepreneur, somebody who owns a lot of businesses or somebody who owns one business and it becomes quite successful, financial instability is always a bit of a fear in that person's head because they're affected by things that they can't always control. Now, it's good to take ownership, but you can take ownership in being an entrepreneur, being your own individual organization, your own problem solver. Yeah. Think about what you actually want to make here. Is it to cash flow and make billions a year, or is it to make $1 million personal income or 100K personal income? Then people go, oh, okay, well, if we look at big businesses, they're turning over 100 million. Okay, well, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. The business owner can only pay from the profit. They can only pay themselves dividends. Yeah. So a dividend is what you pay yourself from the profits of the business, not the gross profit, the net profit, what's left over. Now, the revenue, so you may see stories. I mean, there's so many fucking entrepreneurs out there that you see on Instagram that say, hey, look, I'm about to build $1 billion business or $100 million business or whatever bullshit is. Doesn't mean they are personally making 100 million. It doesn't mean they're worth 100 million. It means the revenue of that business is 100 million. So what they actually can pay themselves is from the net profit as a dividend or as a salary from the business. Okay. So when they start to take that money out, guess what? They get taxed on it. So the business gets taxed and then personal income gets taxed, right? So there's always taxes that are involved. Now, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, you don't have to be dealing with that stuff. Okay. You know, you've got consistency. If you are in a bonus scheme or a commission scheme, you know what the rules are of how you get paid that money, right? The only difference is how are you communicating your true value so you can start to cause those streams of income from the big business that you're in to start to come to you. If you are approaching a big business and you know it's successful and there's a big pool of income there, then the question is how do you start to get a piece of that pie rather than trying to bake a pie from nothing? So if you're going to be an entrepreneur as opposed to an entrepreneur, it could be a faster way for you to reach your 100K goal. Thank you for listening to the podcast so far. A quick reminder that the iPlayers podcast and community remains free. The reason we do these podcasts is because I believe that a great question to ask is what advice would you give your younger self? For me, I wish I had a guide that showed me the exact steps to reach 100K a year in any job and how much my life would be accelerated if I'd cut through that noise and just focused on those steps. We do not run ads or endorse sponsors because it is our mission to give back and share with you, the listener, knowledge gained from working with highly successful individuals and extensive research in management science so that everyone has access to tools that can accelerate their income and give them the opportunity to step into wealth. In line with allowing us to achieve that mission, we ask that you think about how did you end up on this podcast today? Maybe it was through finding it on YouTube or Spotify or word of mouth. So please help feed forward by subscribing to the podcast and also share this podcast with another leader like you that you feel this podcast could really help out in helping them increase their personal income too. Let's get back to the show. Number 2 of why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur: stress and uncertainty. Man, look, I own multiple businesses and I'll tell you now, right? You do not switch off. Oh, Lewis, but that's you can have businesses that can start to work without you, etc. Yeah, look, businesses can work without you, and that ultimately you have to have leverage. Not ultimately. From the start, you have to have leverage. What that means is that you do more with less. Why is that important? Because there's only 24 hours in the day. And guess what? You need to be getting your 8 hours in to be at your optimum performance. So you're left with 16 hours. Then you've got to live as well. You're not just there to work, Gary Vaynerchuk fucking style and all this shit. Yeah, that's great for somebody. That's great if you're in New York, okay, or whatever. I don't get involved in that. I want to live with it as well. So where do you want to actually start to have this sort of, where do you allow your stress levels to get to? Okay, because if you're getting stressed out from the things that you're doing, you also need to remember that no matter where you are, there you are. Okay, if you're not at your 100% self, you may as well be at your 100% self for 2 hours of the day rather than 10% self for 10 hours of the day. Do you get it? So balance. No, I don't like the word balance. Don't like the word balance. Making sure that you're hitting the criteria for how you act and show up as your optimum performance is critical here. Okay. So overstressing yourself isn't a good thing. What causes it? Uncertainty. You know that if you are working in a good, solid job, you're going to have that income come through. If you work harder and harder and you hit your financial goals, well, say harder and harder, harder and smarter, yeah, make sure you're rowing in the right boat, then you're going to hit your income goals as well. You don't have to be the next Hormozy who's approaching $1 billion business or whatever shit he says, okay? You don't need to do that. Some people, yeah, the real world is we just want to achieve our next financial goal. 100K will be fine. Yeah. So don't think that you have to go and jump in the entrepreneur boat to do that. Just think about, okay, how do I find a boat that's going to get me there? Right. So in my businesses, I'll gladly say that if you want to make 100K, then guess what? There's a sales boat there. Okay. You do the right thing by right people. Don't be a dick to people because people don't buy for you if you're a pushy salesperson. You do the right thing, add value to people's lives, they will add value to yours. Yeah. You can get anything in life you want if you just help enough people get what they want. So, what business do you need to be a part of? Who do you need to be around to get less stress, less uncertainty, and solid, certain cash flow? That is the key. Number 3 of why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur: lack of work-life balance. Started to mention it, right? Like I say, I own multiple businesses. Okay. So, yeah, I'm saying here that don't be an entrepreneur, but I am an entrepreneur. Work life balance. You've got to make sure that you are prepared if you are going to be an entrepreneur, that you don't switch off. Okay. It's a hobby for me. I don't see it as work. It's a hobby. I do this stuff, the podcasting, to help more people, whether they be professionals in business or professionals in any area of any career. I do this stuff because I love it. I'm passionate about it and want to help more people. Yeah. The other businesses that I run and I own shares in, then I'm passionate about them too. Yeah. I have like a close circle. I'm not bothered about fucking crypto and investing in stocks and shares and all this stuff. I'm passionate about what I do. My hobby is to make sure that any sort of revenue that comes in, then I can go and invest in other companies to acquire shares in them. And then the shareholders of those businesses, they win because they get me equipped to their business. And I win too because it's a great investment that pays me back over time. Investing. Yeah. So rather than calling yourself in entrepreneur, what about investor? Entrepreneur skills, great. Investing skills is what's going to make you more money. Just think about it. What sort of skills do you need? But work-life balance, listen, I don't switch off from it. It becomes a hobby. The skills that I need become a fucking hobby for it. It's just life. And I don't beat myself about work-life balance there. So if people are telling you, hey, look, you got to have work-life balance, ask yourself, what are you achieving right now? Yeah. No, that's a little bit unfair. What are you achieving right now? They might be achieving what they want, which could be meditating on a fucking rock, or they could be achieving what I want, which is global domination of my businesses, because I feel that the businesses that I invest in make a bigger impact in people's lives. Yeah. So what is it that you want? Don't go by what someone else's work-life balance might mean to them. Do work-life balance your way. Because someone beating you up and saying, hey, look, you need more work-life balance, that doesn't help. That doesn't help. That's like telling a shark not to be an apex predator. Yeah. and climb, shark, go climb tree because it's climbing trees are good. No, a shark wasn't born for that. A shark was born to be an apex predator and swim after things in the sea and kill shit. Yeah. Realize who you are And don't let somebody saying that work-life balance is ever going to slow you down. Okay? You can do that working for somebody else. You don't need to be an entrepreneur for that. Yeah? Don't get it mixed up. Number 4, why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur: skills and personality. Some people just suit their skills and personality, just suit not being an entrepreneur. Okay. What does that mean? Well, look, the skills and personality that you're going to need as an entrepreneur, right? You're going to need good people skills, because if you want to start to leverage, you may think that drop shipping shit on online or whatever it may be that people promote and things like that will crown you as an entrepreneur. Well, look, at some point, you're going to have communication with people, right? That will either be your own team, because you're going to have to employ people. And if you're a dickhead, then they're not going to want to come and join you. So you need to have a personality where you at least like people, okay? And then you're going to have to learn the skills to actually become more effective at it. You need the marketing skills, the sales skills, the accounting skills, the finance skills, the HR skills. All these skills are required, plus many, many more. Now, are you prepared to go on that journey? Because remember, a business owner and entrepreneur, you have to be a generalist, yeah, not a specialist. It's one of the only jobs in the world you will have to be a generalist. That means start to learn everything, okay? Because you're going to need to learn all this stuff if you're going to. Why do you need to learn it all? Here's the key. From my own experience of growing businesses, when I was quite naive and starting out in businesses, I didn't know much about marketing. So I would go on and get a digital marketing company to come and help me out. They seemed fantastic at the start. And then all of a sudden, I was like, okay, this is now, 5 years in. What you actually doing for us? And then they'd come and show me. I mean, this is back in like 2005 or something like that. They'd show me some statistics that this is what Google is saying and why we're so good. Okay, but I'm not getting any sales, right? Oh yeah, well it will come because of the algorithm and all this bullshit. Basically, they were pulling wool over my eyes to just keep the regular subscription with them going. Okay, but I didn't know any different because I didn't understand marketing. Now, being a generalist, you start to learn these different skills. And I mean, this is like 20 years ago now. And when I look back now, I'm just like, yeah, that person didn't really know that much, but they knew a little bit more than me. And I was kind of, because I wasn't investing in my own learning enough, then I recognize now that they were kind of having me on, you know? So by being that generalist and learning all the different skills as an entrepreneur, then that's what allows you to make better decisions. Okay. Now, back to why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur is if you are a specialist, let's say that you was in a career as let's say you want to be a brain surgeon, for example. Being the best brain surgeon in the world solves a big problem for people, right? It stops them from dying. So the better you can be at that, the more problems that you solve for people and still make a lot of money. Okay. You look at people like private doctors, they can make up to millions, right? So just by doing something there, that is a personality that suits them. Sorry, that's a job that suits their personality. They develop skills that is in one niche area, not a generalist area, and they make a lot of money in doing it. So you've really got to decide here. Are you prepared to be a generalist and learn lots of stuff? And if you are, you better be a good fucking learner. Entrepreneurs don't earn without learning. It's as simple as that. In fact, any job, if you stop learning, you stop earning. Okay? So, be really clear. Are you passionate about learning all these skills, or would you rather just be focused on one certain skill that will help you move forward? Number 5 of why you should not be an entrepreneur: market saturation and risk. Look, no matter what you do now, someone else is having that same sort of idea. So if you've got a great business idea, then most likely it's not a great business idea. Success leaves clues, okay? Success leaves clues. It's not having the new Shark Tank idea that's going to make you super successful. It's the way that you do it that's going to make you super successful. All the information is out there now. It's in the library. It's on YouTube. It's on XY, any platform. You will find the answer. You got ChatGPT. It's on ChatGPT. The information that isn't on there is the stuff that is just being released in the research and academic journals. Now, I do a PhD. I recognize that there's loads of new research coming through that changes. And every 2 years, the knowledge of the human race, it starts to, multiply. Okay. So even if it did multiply, just look at the lessons that we had from COVID. New information coming through. People don't give a shit. Yeah. If it conflicts with their life and their beliefs, it's a problem, right? So new information doesn't even really matter. Why am I telling you all this? Because if you think there's going to be a new business where you can bring new information out there and use something, most likely people aren't going to accept it anyway. So what do they accept? People like the way that you do it, not just what you do. They buy the outcome and they buy the way that you do it. Okay. So what am I saying here? As long as it's the same outcome and it's repackaged, then you can do it to suit your own niche and your own world. Now, it's only a matter of time until somebody else does the same thing again. Okay. So the service that you're offering, multiple people are doing it. Multiple. Okay. There's so many people out there, and it doesn't take a genius to start a business now. It's 2024. Anyone can do it. So you got to be prepared that the market may get saturated. And the people that are going to succeed in it are the people who are in that top 1%. So it's not just about going and being an entrepreneur. The entrepreneurs that you see on social media aren't even the 1%. They are the 0.001%. Yeah. They are like 1 in 1,000 of people doing that sort of industry. Okay. They're just very popular on social media or Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook because of the way that they're delivering it, and some of their videos have gone viral and gotten to that position. Okay. Doesn't mean that the other people don't have these skills as well. I mean, I don't know a lot of successful people. I've worked with a lot of successful people, and any one of those successful people that own the multi-million pound businesses that I've worked with previously could teach great lessons better than a lot of YouTubers can, because they're a lot more relatable. They understand what it's like to grow a business in 2022, 2020. You see what I mean? So what I'm saying here is that unless you're prepared to be that 1% in that market saturation, which is going to take a lot of time and a lot of hard work, and I do believe the hustle that people talk about, because that's what it took. But at what sacrifice? At what sacrifice? I've got young kids, for example, right? My values are my children, my family. Okay, you can take all the money that is accumulated, right? Is to create more freedom. So it's reinvested and creates more freedom. That's done through acquisitions of shares in businesses, etc. So that's my game that I play. And what's your game is what I'm saying. What is the game that you are trying to play here? Is it just to acquire a shitload of money? Is it to help more people? Is it to think about your family? And if your values are family, then why would you go out there and hustle like you see on Instagram that is really popular, but the outcome is you don't get to see the family. You see, guys, I've worked with a lot of business owners now, and I can tell you some of the ages they range from is 20 years old up to 70 years old. And the 70-year-olds always turn around and say, I wish I'd have worked with you sooner, Lewis. And I say, why is that? It's like, well, when I was in my 20s and 30s and 40s, I used to work so hard and make a lot of money. And I don't remember the money now. I don't remember how much I made that year. But what I do remember is I used to go to work, get back home at 10 o'clock. And then before I know it, my kids are at university and moved out. So just remember, why are you actually doing this? Why do you want to be calling yourself an entrepreneur? Is it because it's fucking trendy? Yeah. Is it because it makes you look good in front of your mates? If you want to be an entrepreneur that much, just go and change your title to entrepreneur on social media. Yeah. Get over it. And then come and listen to this podcast and join the 100K club when you're ready to actually make some real fucking money. So get very passionate about this. This is a very passionate episode. But it's true. It's a reality. This is real talk right now. Yeah. This is real talk. Remember why you fucking do it in the first place. And I'm not just saying that for you to make a decision. Whether you're entrepreneur or intrapreneur or whatever you want to call yourself, it doesn't matter. The world does not care. The world cares about how much value you add to their lives to help them achieve what they want to achieve. Yeah. So just go out there and add value, guys. Just go out there and add values. Add value. So here's some homework then. Forget the title entrepreneur. What are you going to do to go and solve bigger problems for bigger people or smaller problems for lots of people? And that'll start to help you with deciding whether you need to call yourself entrepreneur or not. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Be great.